2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Let's go.
Welcome to this special edition of Quick Flip Friday. This is AZcrypto and MrFOMO. MrFOMO, we've got some very interesting picks tonight. The market is down.
That's
and
right.
Usually the last week of the month is not great. So that's going to factor into my pick as we kind of tested 40K and we got some support up to 40,800, but still in a pretty how do I put this? Still in a pretty vulnerable state right now. We don't want to really go below 39.6, and anything below 39 to me, it could be an issue. But I'm not going to stress out just yet. And that's going to take us to my first pick tonight. And I'm going with a very safe play. And I have my rationale. I'm going with the second big dog in Ethereum. And let me explain why I'm going with Ethereum. One, it's held up strong. Lowest it got today was in the 2,800 range, now up to 2,900. And I feel very confident that it'll be back into the 3,000s unless next week's a horrible week, which we might go sideways. You're going to see probably 3,000 ETH or higher. So now you have a lot of options. You can wait and hold this for a couple weeks and make more money, or you can take the money that you do make on ETH and put it towards another alt. Now, you might say, well, I already hold ETH. Get some more and sell that off, because right now at 2,900, it's, to me, it's a steal. And I'm not saying it's going to 5x from 2,900. What I'm saying is you can feel good about it going up in value, whereas some of these other coins are just not doing well at all. They'll go up just a slight bit, and then anytime BTC has downward action, they lose it. So on a flip, yeah, I mean, you could get a 3 or 4 or 5%. But that means you got to put a lot of money in to really make it worth your while, especially if the spreads on the exchanges. So I'm going with Ethereum. I like it as a play under 3,000, and it gives you a lot of options. You can decide to hold if we have the green months in March and April, or you can just say, you know what, we're at 33, 34 in 10 days. Let me take my money. Ooh, there's some alts that are still down that I like. Let me put that money I just made into these alts, because in crypto it's about creating wealth, and you've spoken about, creating money out of thin air. So I like Ethereum here, and I just wanted to ask you before you give your pick, have you gotten the check from some of the crypto that you recommended last week? Was it, how much did they pay you to recommend those? We got BitBoy Jr. now. I know him now.
I haven't been contacted yet, but I will be happy to take that money.
And at least you'll be honest about it.
Right. And I'll tell you too. We'll click that little button on the YouTube that says this is a promotion. We'll do the whole song and dance. I like your pick because it's safe in a market that's a little bit depressed. It's a very safe play, especially when we have next week coming up. We've got futures at the end of the week. That's always,
and we've got the Biden executive order that we don't know too much about right now. It's all speculation if it's going to be good or bad. My feeling, it's going to be neutral. They're just going to say they need to take crypto more seriously. So what you're going to see is just a lot of volatility. And when you have a lot of volatility, you want to be careful just in case things go south. You don't want to be in something that no one has heard of before, because it could go badly for you. And the thing about the ETH pick that I like, it offers stability. And if you're stuck with ETH, you're not going to be stuck for very long. The chances of ETH not getting above 2,900 are as slim as you can think of. So I like it.
I think it's a safe flip, but I think for me at these prices, I have a hard time not just hanging on to that ETH. You know what I mean? Like you mentioned that you have a lot of options here. And for me, if I'm buying ETH, I'm buying digital oil this is the first network, the first big dog on the, it's the one of the gateway drugs that they serve to you on Robinhood. I mean, I think you still have some locked up there, don't you?
No, not anymore. We waited and waited for those wallets to open up to transfer. So
So for me, it's
we
it's safe, not as a flip necessarily, but it's safe just as a purchase,
mhm.
especially at these prices when you get into the 2000s. I mean, you mentioned BitBoy Crypto, and we'll probably talk about him again here in a second, but he predicted and he saw that he thought that it would go to 4,000 and higher, and then he thought that it would never come back down. Well, here we are again. So just scoop up that ETH at this price. If you're into crypto for the long haul, that's definitely a good pickup. Like I said,
and
especially.
and and I could have gone something with a much lower market cap and much lower uh, price. I'm just thinking, it's nice to have options. I could sell it in 5 or 6 days. If things go well, I could hold on to it. I kind of have control. Whereas the others, I can't tell you for sure that some of the other low end coins are going to do that well. They might recover a little bit. My second choice was actually, and it's kind of funny, we kind of not put them down, but we're disappointed and they weren't involved in the Cavs NFTs because they had a sponsorship with the Cavs. Was Chili's. I thought about Chili's, but um, I just decided here to go with ETH. I think you're going to be in the green much quicker than some of the other coins, and then that gives you new money to play with to invest in some of the other alts that take longer to come back. Especially right now, if you're down and you're DCAing, you're creating money like we've talked about out of thin air to DCA, and so it's a first. I think it's a first mover when we go back, hopefully, to the 43, 45 in terms of value. And so, like I said, gives people options. Hold on to it, but take that money. Hey, if you make a 10% profit, take it and put that money into something else or put it in USD, whatever you want to do.
And I would agree with that. I think that's a sound strategy, and like I said, I don't think ETH is a bad purchase at this point. I'm gonna go for a little bit something that's a little bit riskier. I'm gonna go with, you mentioned BitBoy. I'm gonna go with one of his favorite projects. I'm gonna go with Cartesi. And I like it because it's a low market cap in honor of the Super Bowl and the halftime show that I loved, and the hip hop shirt that I'm wearing right now.
Nice.
Um, I'm going to quote A Tribe Called Quest and say, "Scared money don't make none." And I'm going to say, you got to go with a low cap gem if you're looking to flip. I like Cartesi because their volume is up, even in a little bit of a depressed market. I'm not necessarily scared about this market because the other markets are also down. The other markets are also fearful, and we know that crypto kind of chases those markets. So I think that's a reaction maybe to those other markets more than it is necessarily a bad sign for crypto. Um, but Cartesi, they've got good technology. They're very scalable. Their optimistic rollups turned out to be something that it might be a game changer. They're able to keep a lot of data on chain, where other projects are having to use side chains and different ways of getting around that scalability issue. And you know how I feel about gambling. They have poker that they're beta testing on Cartesi. I'm not a gambler, but I will invest in the house and make money off of your gambling. So whatever, you know what I mean? Like, how I feel about that. And
Yeah, and we should have a full transparency here. You did invite the Cortese team to your Super Bowl party, but unfortunately, all five of them couldn't fit in that small
yeah, the,
car.
the whole community
So,
would come. That's all right. We'll have a Twitter space or something. Um, but I looked at their roadmap, and that's something that I really like. And they're very transparent about how they hold their money and what they use their money for. The Cartesi, as they unlock it as they go. Not very much of the circulating supply is unlocked, but that will be fully unlocked by 2023. But they've got a lot of money set aside for like research and development. They tell you exactly the amount of Cartesi they're spending on each one of these things. And I just like a lot of the things that they're doing. And like I said, we're gambling. We're doing the quick flips. I'm going with the gambling coin. I'm going with Cartesi, but I like
All
them
right.
for a lot more reasons than just that.
No, in all seriousness, when you have low market cap and high volume in a difficult time, that is a good sign. So I like that pick as well. Now we talked last show about just recently about getting to 45, getting to 48. Seems like with future bets next week, if you're not familiar, last week of the month, there are future bets on Bitcoin price. Seems like someone somewhere wants to keep us under 45, and they're using this Russian situation as a way to manipulate the market and scare people. So I would say just be careful. That's why with ETH, be careful. If you put a lot of money on something you're not sure of, you might find yourself in the red for a while. I'm still hopeful for March, but again, we are not TA experts. We got to get above 45, get back above 45 like we did earlier this month, and then the next number that we talked about is 48. I don't see that happening now until March. Just a heads up for our audience. Again, we are not TA experts, but we do follow a lot of people that do TA, and the people I've been following. Shout out to Crypto, crazy videos, but he's been nailing it out of the park. Pretty accurate. You know, you got to be careful because a lot of these guys pretend to be experts and they're not, but some of them have been doing it for years. And so they'll give you two different scenarios that could happen and they'll explain the rationale. And those are the people that you kind of want to follow.
Right.
If someone's guaranteeing you that we're getting to 50K the next 5 days, that's probably not someone that you want to follow because they're just trying to get clicks. That's just the way it is. There are the pretenders and the contenders when it comes to Bitcoin TA. So just adds up on that.
And you should take a little bit of credit because you've been telling our viewers that 39.6 level is really important. And so that's another one to watch. We flipped it into support in the past, week or so, but we could definitely flip that back into resistance if we drop below it. So it's important to watch that level again as we creep closer to 40,000 and we get down there. Hopefully we won't see that again. Hopefully. And you mentioned Biden's announcement. I'm optimistic about Biden's announcement because one of his biggest donors is Bankman-Fried of FTX. And I'm optimistic that money might have changed his mind a little bit on crypto and maybe his administration's mind on crypto. Not that they were negative on it in the first place. But I remember the volatility of the market, it flows maybe 10% either way each day, or it can. And so maybe if you're able to set a stop loss or something like that, or if you set a number that you're comfortable with, or you're just watching it and you say, if this falls more than 20%, I'm going to go ahead and take my money out. I'm not saying that's the best strategy, but if you're scared about this market, you might want to have a plan if it does fall back and you're not going to DCA. But for me, if the market falls, it just means there's really tasty prices out there, and I'm going to.
And BTC at great prices. Any BTC in the 30s is a good buy long term. So again, just be careful out there. It should be an interesting week. We're not expecting great price action. Just being honest, we're not going to sugarcoat it. But we'll see. Me and you are both still,
and you never know. Futures week could go completely the opposite way. There's probably not a huge chance that happens, but maybe, just maybe, they turn around and squeeze the other side and we see an explosion in price.
I'm not guaranteeing it. I feel good, and I could be wrong about a 50K BTC sometime in March. I do. I feel good about it. But again, I don't think it's going to happen overnight. I think it's going to take a couple weeks. Anything left for our viewers tonight?
Hang in there.
All right, guys, you have a wonderful evening. Hey, we're up to 35 subscribers. Let's get up to 40. Let's get up to 50. Smash that like button. Tell your friends. Tell your family. Anyone that's in crypto or interested. For Mr. FOMO, this is AZcrypto. Have a good night, everybody, and have a great weekend.
See ya.